This week one of my weekly putting review. I don't really know what to call this, but this is going to be every single week, obviously, of my whole entire week of the 100 day that I'm doing on my Instagram. So go and check that out. That's going to be posted every other day, not every day. But doing 100 a day in this little basement of mine. As you can tell, I could touch the ceiling. My head almost hit the ceiling. So, not the most room in here, but we got 18 feet. And I'm just going to talk about what I went through this week. Maybe it could help you, but doing this just to kind of keep myself consistent and actually want to keep on doing this. So, week one, I focused on three things. First one's going to be putting the putter in the pocket. So, for me, when I putt, my downstroke, so coming from here to here, isn't straight down to, say, my thigh, but it's actually out to the side of where my pocket is. You can see, bring it right to there. That's kind of my stopping point where I feel like get the most consistency from. I don't know what it is, but even if I just come straight down, not all the way over, I think it's just I don't have as much spin or pop from just 6 inches of difference. But that's really the one thing that I focused on last week. And honestly, I just see a lot more consistency. I get a lot more pop out of my putt, and I'm able to kind of aim a little better. Even just a 6 inch difference from being to here, which is something I guess I'm learning out in the off season right now, which is good. So I don't have to learn it later. Now, the second thing I worked on this last week was loading the wrist. So when I first started the week, I thought loading the wrist was maybe me, or you could call it curling the wrist. I thought curling the wrist was going to be a lot more active rather than kind of just passive. That's how it works, active and passive. But coming from here, I'm going to keep my wrist locked into the same position until I get down here, instead of slowly curling it more. Show it from the side. But instead of being curled here, I'm just going to bring wrist, keep it nice, same spot as it is up here, just down. Now what this led to was a little less spin, so I didn't have as much power, but I think the consistency is a lot more crucial compared to the power that I was getting. So I obviously had more spin when I was curling the wrist, but accuracy was 100 times worse, which you don't need that. You need to be accurate on your putt. So that was the second thing I worked on, and I realized halfway through the week, almost, I would say a little more than halfway through the week, that I was doing it wrong. So that's why I'm doing this 100 a day. So right now, I can figure it out, except during the season, which I want to score good in the season. So that's really a big separation between where I was last year to this year. The third thing I worked on this week was keeping my eyes on the target. So even just from 15 feet away, where 18 I got in here, I could look at this basket and see the whole basket. I know I want to make it into at least the center of it. So if I'm just going to kind of look broadly in the center, what I realized was that was creating problems. Because when I would miss, and I would miss a lot, like, okay, I need to focus more. But if I'm aiming big and I miss by big, I don't have a really good error to kind of adjust instead of another big error, which could lead to more problems. So instead, I looked at a single chain. Either I put on a little bit of hyzer too, so that's going to be what's going to be different if I putted flat or anhyzer. So I just aim a little bit right of the center pole. So for example, I would look at this chain right here, just kind of midway, so I could catch as much chains as I could, and to the right, so that once I do start putting from further, that it's gonna just come in nice and easy. If I'm from 35 feet, I know that with these putters, especially, these are the Pixels, I know that from 35 feet, it's gonna get a little bit of integrity at the end compared to from 15, where it's just I can just bolt everything and it's going to be right there where I want it. And then just talking about the basket I'm using, this is a cheap Amazon basket, which I didn't want to go and buy a MVP Black Hole, for example, or I think a Dynamic makes one, a nice Dynamic disc, basket. So I just bought this cheap one, and it works. The chains are lighter, which is kind of helpful sometimes because my putt kind of gets a lot of pace on it. And with these being lighter, it doesn't catch as good. So that puts me in check to put less power on it and be more of just a pop at the end rather than trying to bullet everything. And with this little guy in the middle, this little towel, I do it just so it doesn't echo down here. This is a super small area, nothing in it, so it will echo and be really loud. And I just don't need to be loud. So I put a little towel around it and stops all the really loud banging of chains. That's going to be it. This is going to be a weekly thing, just to keep myself accountable throughout whenever, honestly. I don't really know how long this is going to go. But until season starts, I'll say. Even though I'll say end of the year. At least end of the year. So that's me up for this video. Check out my Instagram. Check out PureFlight's Instagram, YouTube, and their website. Their YouTube and website and Instagram's all going to be linked in the description. If you go to the website, check out, you get 10% off if you use my code PurePond26 on almost every items. But check them out. They're going to be my 2026 sponsor. PureFlight's located in Boardman, Ohio, and I just made the drive down there because it's honestly the best shop around. So that says a lot because I'll make that 15-minute drive almost any day of the week if I have to get either a disc, a hoodie, any accessory I need, a beanie, all that sort of stuff. And they have a lot of sales going on. So check out their Instagram to look at the sales. Other than that, as always, stay up moving. Bye.